I need to understand a little better what is going on with Stugotz, because
What do you mean?
I'm confused on a couple of fronts by you saying the Eagles are the rare Super Bowl team that lost, but it feels like they won.
Right.
And furthermore, you are insane the last few days about stop telling me that the Chiefs are a dynasty. You're really getting mad about this. And this is the rare circumstance where it seems like Stugotz is not willing to allow the winner to be the winner. He doesn't want the winner to be the winner. And it's making me wonder, like, did you put a bet on Philadelphia? Did you say somewhere that Philadelphia was going to win and be great, and you feel like they were denied you being right?
I was right on half the radio stations in America. I did Radio Row last week. I told half of them Philadelphia was going to win. The other half Kansas City was going to win. So I'm good there. I did place a bet. I lost money. I had the Eagles. Okay? But that has nothing to do with my take. First off, the Eagles, there is no scapegoat. The scapegoat is the referee. The Eagles played a very good football game. The Chiefs just happened to have the ball last. I know the Eagles did, but they had 8 seconds. So there really is no scapegoat. Jalen Hurts was everything we want Jalen Hurts to be, and then some. He was that good in that game, right? So he wasn't a loser, even though he lost the game.
Do the Eagles?
No one's blaming Jalen Hurts today.
Does Jalen Hurts have a Super Bowl championship in your personal record book?
He doesn't. But you know what the Chiefs don't have in my personal record book? A dynasty. They just don't have, Dan, that's not a dynasty. You can't have championships separated by, I think, 4 or 5 years. Only have 2 of them. Here's a dynasty.
Only 2 of them.
2 and 5 years. Not a dynasty. Here's a dynasty. The Bulls, 6 and 8 years. The Cowboys, 3 and 4 years. The Niners, I think it was 4 in a decade. That is the Islanders. They won 4 consecutive Stanley Cups, made it to 5. Let's not do this with the Chiefs, where they're on some sort of historic run where we're calling them a dynasty. It's not. You can't have championships separated by 5 years. And you can't go to 5 AFC championship games, have 2 wins, 1 loss, not make it to the Super Bowl 2 times. Not a dynasty. It's not a dynasty.
It's why he's so good, man.
Yeah.
It's a great take. Who else is saying it?
Nobody.
Well, I don't think it's a great take. And the reason I don't think it's a great take, it's not even that he's wrong.
Well,
it's just how tired I am of people jumping to call someone a dynasty, and then the people that react with utter indignance about that's not a dynasty yet. You got to win 1 more or 2 more. You got to win them in this span. I'm not interested in that argument. I'm interested in the roots of why Stugotz is doing this. The loser lost, and Stugotz is insisting on making them the winner. The winner won, and Stugotz is insisting on taking things away from them. And I just don't know why it's happening, because Stugotz usually allows the winners to be the winners, except for Kevin Durant, when he doesn't actually have 2 titles because of how he won the 2 titles.
I'm acknowledging that the Chiefs won a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl. It's their 2nd Super Bowl, or Patrick Mahomes is and Travis Kelce's 2nd Super Bowl. This is not a dynasty. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to take anything away. I'm trying to take a dynasty away from the Chiefs.
Dynasty away from
but
them.
I don't even think the Chiefs would call it a dynasty.
Dan, would you? Say it. Yay or nay?
It's not a dynasty.
Yay or nay?
I don't care.
You know a dynasty when you see it, Dan. You don't have to think about it.
No.
All right?
I think that the terms for greatness have been so altered by some of the modern people doing the greatnessing, whether it's LeBron or Tom Brady or Serena Williams, that now the standard is the Patriots. The Patriots in our lifetime won all the championships. We're always there. And so that's the standard for dynasty. And compared to that, everyone pales. Everyone fails compared to that.
But also, the Patriots did that over 18 years. The Spurs did that over 19 years. The story is not written yet. But in order to have Stugotz get angry and debate something, we have to put it in some kind of framing like, is this a dynasty? Because if you just say, are the Chiefs really good? The answer is yes, but are they a dynasty? Then we can debate.
Well, but it's not a debate. Are they historically great? Yeah, we expect them to keep winning.
We expect them to keep winning.
Well, they may not.
I expected Dan Marino to make it to more Super Bowls. He didn't.
Okay, but Stugotz, you also expected Andy Reid to not replace Alex Smith with Patrick Mahomes. It is looking, after they won the first one, a bunch of their players, Chris Jones, Tyreek Hill, they kept saying loudly, we can win 6 or 7 or 8. And now we're all saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can.
Right.
Because the minimum standard since Patrick Mahomes has been the quarterback of the Chiefs is they get to the conference championship game.
Not 4, not 5.
That's the minimum. That's the start. The season begins at the conference championship game for them.
When you think sports dynasties, you think of UCLA, you think of UConn women's basketball, you think of the Yankees, you think of the Edmonton Oilers, you think of the Islanders, you think of the Patriots from 2000.
But Dynasties.com?
No
10
one
years.
is. No one in 10 years.
Now.
No, if they win 3 or 4 more Super Bowls 10 years from now, we'll say they're a dynasty. They won't do that, by the way. But if they do, I'll give them dynasty.
But this is what's happening with
But no one right now is thinking, no one in Philadelphia, New York, or Boston, where they're still doing topics like this, is someone doing best sports dynasties of all time and saying, hey, Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody. Not a single person. And if they are, they should be fired.
I agree
seriously.
with Stugotz.
Stugotz,
Too soon.
Do you call the Giants of the mid-2000s a dynasty? San Francisco Giants in baseball.
How many in how many years?
They won every other.
They won 3 and 5.
3 and 5, never back to back, right?
It's kind of in that same realm of they had a solid 6-year stretch, but no one really thinks that. I'm not saying they're in that, but that's kind of what you're saying.
But 3 and 5, no back to backs. I feel like a dynasty needs at least one back to back somewhere in there.
No, back to back is so hard. I'm thinking now like the Blackhawks in the 2010s because they won 3 in 6 years also.
Yeah,
I mean, 2009 to 2015.
The beauty of
back to back is extremely hard. It's only happened in hockey like 4 times.
That's why it's a selective club.
Yeah, but the Islanders won 4 straight. I think the Oilers won 4 or 5 straight, right, Roy? Something like that.
Yeah.
Right after the Islanders won
4
theirs,
straight,
right?
yeah.
You had back-to-back dynasties.
What about the Tampa Bay Lightning currently?
yes,
back-to-backs?
yes, the
Just
Tampa Bay
like
Lightning.
I think it's more just like a stretch, a 5-year
If you're
stretch
the
where you're in it
dominant
every
team
year.
of your time. This is the beauty of the Stugotz creature. He's making you remember the take 7 years from now when he's wrong. In 7 years of games that haven't been played. It's how he always wins. He can just say they're not going to do it now and dare someone to remember 7 years from now.
That I said
Hey, remember that time that you said that they weren't going to be a dynasty? Stugotz wouldn't have said after Tom Brady beat the greatest show on turf, the Rams, in one of the great upsets in sports history, to win his first championship, that will be a dynasty. No one can predict that. However, the Kansas City Chiefs have an ingredient that make it easier to predict than most.
Ooh, are the current Georgia Bulldogs a dynasty?
Back-to-backs?
Alabama's a dynasty still.
Alabama was a dynasty.
But now it's Georgia.
But if they're back next year in the championship game, they're still a dynasty.
Georgia has just won back-to-backs. Now, if they win one of the next 2, 3, and 4 years, I'll give them dynasty. I will. The Steelers won 4 and 6 years, back-to-back twice, I believe.
Yes.
That's a dynasty.
Steel curtain.
That's a dynasty.
This is
4
what you're
and 6
doing.
years.
So let's just get the formal definition so that we never have to have this conversation again.
Right.
What is the Stugotz formal definition for dynasty? It is multiple championships within 5 years,
Right.
at least 2, maybe 3, and they have to be back-to-back.
There has to be back-to-backs, minimum 4 championships
so
in
hard
like
in
a
the NFL.
7-year
So there's
span.
3
Back-to-back in the
dynasties ever.
NFL?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
The wiki criteria for this, it says, in sports, a dynasty is a team or individual that dominates their sport or league for an extended length of time. Some leagues usually maintain official lists of dynasties, often as a part of a Hall of Fame. This can result in a frequent topic of debate among sports fans due to a lack of consensus and agreement in the many different variables and criteria that fans may use to define a sports dynasty, thus making it great Stugotz conversational fodder.
I mean, the 20s Yankees won 7 from 1920 to 33. They won 7 of 13 World Series, 4 in a row. I mean, that's a dynasty. That's a dynasty. What the Chiefs are doing right now, not a dynasty. They're close, but not a dynasty.